Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. So I want to do like a new series on my channel where I talk about new K-pop groups, whether it's boy or girl that I found, necessarily recent, but also they're like a newer group and I feel like they are like really making a good, big impact on K-pop, and not just like a new group where it's like, oh, I really like this group, but like a K-pop group where I feel like they're really impacting K-pop history, I guess you should say. I want to talk about a group that I feel like they are really introducing the new wave to K-pop. Talk about how I feel like they're introducing a new era that could, open the door for more different kind of boy groups and girl groups. I feel like they're going to become, a staple in the K-pop, generation that they're in right now. Let's just say that. So the group that I want to talk about is XLOV, and how I'm going to do this, I'm not going to break down who they are, what they are, where they from, all that stuff like that, give you all the anecdotes, the ins and outs of what the group is.
That's weird.
But I'm just going to tell you why I like the group and why I feel like they're going to make an impact in K-pop, and why I feel like they're already making an impact in K-pop right now. But, I'm just saying for like, future tense when they have like, a couple more years under their belt. So the meaning of XLOV is comprised by two different things. So X is without in the negation, and then love without the E, which is pretty much just incomplete love. And you put that together. And they were comprised under the entertainment agency of 257 Entertainment. And they literally haven't even been out for half a year, because they came out January 7th of this year, and they're already making big waves in the K-pop industry. So it's comprised by 4 members in the group, and I'm gonna say the names, but sorry if I mispronounce their names, because I am I don't natively speak their languages, so it might be pronounced a certain kind of way, and I'm not pronouncing it right. I don't know.
You're a dummy, bitch.
But is Wumiti, Ru, Hyun, and Haru. All of them, I love that they're all different. I love that they all, to me, bring something, unique to the group. Like if you see them perform, like you can tell them apart, you can tell what they do, you can tell like, they have like their own strengths and their own differences. I don't really, so far what I see, they don't really have any weaknesses. And like obviously each group have like, a little, ebbs and flows, whatever, but as like a whole group together, they're like, if they were in like a survival show, it'd be like the ace group, in my opinion, because they can sing live. They can dance very well. And they can also rap, and as you can see, they can flow in between masculine and femininity. Which I'm gonna get more into that later on into the video. One thing that I love about them, because I was looking at an interview, is I love when they say that they are bringing in a genderless concept. One of the things that I want to talk about, that I want to bring up with a boy group like this is, now I don't know if this is the first boy group, because I know it was like a different, now I don't know if they were necessarily K-pop, but it was a boy group where I guess I don't want to say homoerotic, but like homoerotic concepts where it's like they were in heels, they were in tights, they were in fishnet, like they were very like flashy. But I don't know if you would consider them a K-pop group. I don't know, because I seen a video on them. Now if they're considered a K-pop group, then kudos to them. This group right here is one of the first groups where I seen where it's like a full-fledged K-pop group. They're on like Show Champion, on different of like these K-pop live shows, and they're not showing like this I guess you could say heteronormative concepts where it's like it's all like 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 that. It's not like all like over-induced masculinity, which not all boy groups are like that, but in the sense of how they're bringing it, where like you can tell that they take elements from not only boy groups but also girl groups as well. So when you see that mixed together, that's something that for me, that's my first time seeing it, and I've been into K-pop for a very long time. So that's something that I really like to see. Like for me, little backstory, because I am a dancer. A little bit still where I had to, get over is, the way that I dance. And the way that I dance, it's a little bit more fluid, it's a little bit more soft. Like if I wanted to, I can hit those heartbeats. I could hit those, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 counts, but like not all the time it comes natural to me. So a lot of the times I would, rather go to something a little bit more fluid, a little more soft.
funnier than a gummy worm and baby oil, you know?
But, you know, still bring in like those elements of like the hard hitting. And when you look at this group, you can really see that, where it's like they show both mixed intertwined together, where it's like a good blend of 50-50 masculine, femininity. Like, that's one of the things I really like about them. I feel like they have really amazing stage presence, which if you look at other boy groups, you know, they have great stage presence too, but I feel like they bring like a little bit more oomph to it. Like, I don't know how to put it, but they bring a little bit more oomph, where it's like, I guess the oomph would be like the sass, and I guess that's where like the element of like the girl group are coming, where it's like they are bringing like the masculinity of it, but then they bring it like a little to it. The thing that I find really good about this group, or more so I would say about the marketing of this group, is one of the group's members, his name is Hyun. He has like a tan complexion to his skin. I really love how like the entertainment agency that they're in is, you know, they're not trying to whitewash him, they're not trying to make him more pale, they're not trying to, you know, make him more, you know, resemble his other members that have, you know, more fair skin. Like, they're showing like a different variety of, you know, Asians in their group, where it's showing that, you know, you don't have to be a pale fair skin, you know, Asian to, you know, be in a K-pop group, and they're also can, you know, make it. So that's one of the things that I really find that's really appealing. And then it shows other people that you don't have to do certain things to your skin to make yourself more appealing. And you know, one of the things that I thought to myself when watching this group is I would love to choreograph for them one day. Like, when I feel, because I'm a kind of dancer where it's like there's a difference between a dancer and a choreographer. And for me, I would rather dance more so than choreograph, but I'm not obviously, but I'd want to get better and more confident in my choreographing. But if we're just talking about simply like wanting to choreograph for somebody, because there are certain like girl groups, and like a lot of girl groups I would want to choreograph, excuse me, a lot of girl groups that I would want to choreograph for, but for the boy groups, not really. But this is one of the first groups where I'm just like, I'd want to choreograph for them, just like the way that they move, or it really aligns with me. Like, that's one of the things right there. And another thing about this group that I find really interesting, not saying that they're the only group that, you know, does this, but for them, I feel like it really shows, you know, when you put a group that is also in control of their music, it shows like, you know, their personalities, and I feel like it helps blends the group's personalities really well together, instead of just putting like, you know, some music producer together. And what I mean by that is, Wumiti, the leader of the group, he also produces, he also creates a lot of the songs that they perform, and he also helps with asking, you know, the members of the group, and, you know, I got this all from the interview that I'll link down below, but he also asks the members input on, like, you know, how did this sound, how would this go, who should do this part, you know, stuff like that. I feel like looking at a group like this, it shows a new group who can come into, you know, even though they all had like, you know, some kind of background in, you know, the industry, so they also had like, you know, probably like their own little, you know, individual fan bases, but a new group coming in showing like, you know, they don't have to be all just like company produced, where it's like it's all ideas from a company, it's all ideas, you know, from the outsource. It's not really like the artist, where if you show like the artists actually have like an input, it shows like the artist can actually become successful in its own right. And on back to the 50-50 masculine and feminine, when it comes to the styling of them, I love the way that they style them. Like, it's not pushing the boundaries where it's like it's trying to do too much of like, you know, resembling a girl group, where it's like going too feminine, but it's also not staying in the confined lines I feel like a lot of the times a boy group would be in, where it's like if they try to, you know, do something a little bit, I guess, more quote-unquote sassy or feminine in a boy group, the most that they're gonna do, which they're pushing more boundaries now in this generation, but, you know, just in general, the most that they're gonna do is put on a crop top, put on something like really like tight fitted, and, you know, that's like the most that, you know, I guess, like, I don't want to say the generic, but like the average K-pop boy group would do to like, you know, push that bounds of like not being too masculine. But with this group, they're not only doing like, you know, crop tops, they're also doing a little bit of like a kilt. They're also doing like a little bit of a skirt, but also have like the pants underneath. Or they also have like, you know, a little bit of like a pastel color. And then how like they design like the top where it might look like it could be something more for a woman, but styling it a certain kind of way, you could see the masculinity of the outfit as well. And so with that, I love how like whoever their stylist is, which I need to look them up, I love how like they blend those two together where it goes even more into their concept, not just with a song or with like, you know, like a music video. Okay, so for my last point, why I want to bring it back to a new era of why I think XLOV is bringing, you know, is possibly bringing in a new era of different groups, is because with a group like this, it's not a co-ed group where it's like, you know, 2 girls and 2 boys, where it's like, oh, okay, maybe the boys can do something a little bit more feminine because they got girls in it. And it's not like, you know, oh, they doing something more masculine, which they do a lot in K-pop, so that's not anything new, but like, you know, where like the girls doing something more masculine. Because even like when it's been an all-girl group, like I believe Iamkennyyoungg, if that's the way you pronounce it, like long time ago. And second gen, it was a girl group that kind of did, you know, what the boys did, where not the boys, what XLOV did, where it's like they were all girls, but they did more masculine. They didn't even really do, well, actually no, I lied. They would dress masculine, but they would still kind of perform a little bit feminine, but they would still, you know, present themselves in a more masculine way. But basically what I'm trying to say is, with a group like XLOV, they're not just, you know, being a boy group and doing something super feminine, or they're not just being a boy group and they're doing something masculine and throwing hints of femininity in it. They're actually blending it together. In my what's the word I'm trying to use? In my opinion, it's my opinion.
Really care if you like them or not. You
Bad
don't have to sleep with them. You don't have to vacation with them. You don't have to do anything with them.
I didn't say bad things about Brooks. I said I don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
But in my opinion, I feel like they're blending it very well, where it's neither is overpowering the other, where it's like it's a nice harmony together, where it's like after them, especially like if you hear like the fan chants, if you heard like, you know, probably on like the first day, it wasn't like, you know, they weren't making a lot of noise in like the live show because, you know, they're new. But like once you see like live shows after like just probably like the second or third performance, like, you know, you see a lot of people are definitely caught on and like, you know, catching up to them, where it's like they are already like, you could tell that they're already building up steam, where it's like they're already on their second single. And, you know, right now, like it's really, I'm not gonna say it's taking over, like they're going viral or anything. But in the sense of like, you know, the popularity is definitely growing when you look at the numbers from like their old video to like now, within the span of like 3-4 months. Like you can already tell within the budget, the outfits, and like mind you, the budget and the outfits and stuff weren't like horrible in like their first single, but like it's already a jump within 4 months. So, you know, clearly they're doing something right, where like they are elevating already, which I love to see. But you know, with them being kind of like, you know, the pioneers of a genderless concept, because it's the first time I ever heard of a genderless concept in the K-pop, especially in a boy group, I can see it opening a lot of doors for other boy groups that want to do, or other companies that want to debut boy groups that want to do something like this, or also girl groups that, you know, also want to do something like this, where it's like they, you know, do it in the opposite way, where it's like they still dress it in between, but you can see them going in between the masculine and femininity. Like, you know, we could name other, you know, girl groups like, I think the name was Irony, where it's like, you know, they were playing on the masculine role, but it wasn't like a full blend. It'd be like 75% masculine and then the 25% feminine, because one, obviously they're women, and two, they're still doing sometimes a little feminine. And then Irony, if I'm not mistaken, they went full-fledged femme. So, you know, but all in all, in general, I feel like I can see a bunch of groups, you know, I don't know how soon, but, you know, in the future definitely coming out and, you know, doing similar things. Hold on, because that's over. Doing similar things that XLOV is doing, but obviously in their own way. So hopefully this video isn't too long. I want to do like a little lighthearted video compared to the last video I posted, because, you know, there was a little, you know, heavy topic. But I want to, you know, kind of make this a whole another segment where it's like I find groups, or not even necessarily find groups, because I didn't necessarily find them. They just popped up on my YouTube channel when they came out, and then I actually, you know, and start looking at their videos and enjoying them and stuff like that. I want to find groups that's making a path in K-pop, and what I feel like that'll possibly put their stamp in the K-pop history, not just like a group that's like popular where it's just like, oh, this song written viral and it's like blah blah blah. Like I want to actually, like, you know, talk about groups that actually seem like they're gonna make some kind of difference in K-pop history, and this is one of the groups that I actually do see doing that. Especially, like, you know, if I was doing this segment back then, the first group probably would have been Card, where it's like I feel like they put their stamp where it's like they weren't the first co-ed K-pop group, but as in, like, you know, making their mark of being, you know, one of the top co-ed K-pop groups, because it's been some before them, but like I feel like they really, like, you know, made that mark. But that's all I have for this video. I'm not going to ramble on anymore. I will see you guys next time. I will make sure I will try to upload more frequent, because my last video was a month ago and I'm not trying to go that long again without uploading a video. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. No, that was weird. I'm not doing that in. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And they literally haven't even been out for half a year, or like literally almost half a year, because they came out January 26th. Ooh. Because they came out January 7th of this year. Let's get in hard in here with my water. Ooh. Okay. Need a dab off. Getting sweaty. I'm glad I got these napkins right here. Ooh, my notebook. Okay.